Well, I found a pretty good deal on a gas tank on eBay, and the guy wanted $70 and $20 shipping. I thought that was great. Cheapest ones that I could find were like 120, $30. Anyway, I was looking on Craigslist, and this guy had this old Jeep tank, and he wanted $30 for it. So I said, okay, yeah, sure, bring it over and let me look at it. And I measured it. It's only 9.5 gallons or so. I don't like 10-gallon tanks. They just don't go about half as far as I like. This one looks pretty good. It had a neck, and some kind of inlet there, vent, some kind of a sending unit. Come out of a Jeep apparently, but I could hear some rust running around in it. I tried to take that plug out of there, no cigar, and so I just welded a big nut on that 3/8 MPT plug, and I'm letting it cool off a little, but that ought to do something. I either twist the bottom out of that tank or it'll work if I can get it out. That's all I care about. Trying to cool it off a little here. I just want to blow some air in there and see how much rust I can get out of it. If I have to seal it, that stuff's like $40. Now, like I said, I got $60 into a tank. Don't know if that's a deal or not. If it was bigger, I wouldn't worry about it. But because it is this small, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time working on it. This is what I've been doing the last couple days here. Finished it up today. It's hot out here. It's like 110 or something. I had to drill a hole in my wall, run this stuff through here. I still haven't mounted it on the ground, but I got it wired. I need to clean up all the stuff and finish my wall, but it's working really good. I had it set at 72 and it's too cold in the house. I had to set it back up to about 75 or 6. Anyway, this was a couple days work. That's all done. Now I tried this with a big socket, no cigar, and so I'm going to hit it with an impact here. Hopefully that'll do it. It might be the wrong size socket. Something happened. Sounded like it just stripped the thing. Yeah, that's the wrong size socket for sure. What have I got here? Maybe a little smaller one. Try it again. Well, here's a right sized one. What is this? Like 11/16. It must have had a 3/4 on it. But it wasn't showing much promise there. Did turn. Probably a little WD-40 and back and forth. Let's try to put it back in. Looks like I just ripped it right off. Ripped my weld right off. So that wasn't welded too good. I don't think I moved the plug at all. Cleaned up. Put another nut on it. I just didn't. Looked like it was welded pretty good. Looks like I ripped off the head of the bolt, so it was welded. Try some vice grips on it and see if I did loosen it. If not, I'll weld another nut on it. Well, this time I welded quite a bit of metal on top of here. You know, because those nuts or those plugs are cast iron, so they're probably not sticking down in that hole. But I got a good solid weld on it now. Whoa. Guess that's gonna tell how that goes. Soldered in. Probably pull that out of there without even messing with it. Definitely got it hot enough. Well, let's see if I can get it out. I can always resolder it. That's worth even trying to do. Probably ought to just well, I'm gonna weld a nut on it and try it again anyway. Well, that worked out. Almost messed up. Looks like I got a little weld there on the bung, but that gave me enough volts. I don't know what I did with it, but most of these, you can see it broke down inside there. I couldn't really get it welded good, but once I got that thing built up good, and then I welded another big nut on it and was able to crack it loose, and I just worked it back and forth. So finally that all got cleaned out. I can hear a little rust rattling around in there, but it's not that bad. I could probably, hook up a water hose in there and try to flush some of it out. The tank will go in fine. It'll fit down in below the tail piece. I'll have to cut that and make a hole in the side of the car to fill it with. I sure wish it was more than 10 gallons. I may do a little study in here, and maybe I can cut a piece out of it here somewhere and figure out a way to get another 4 or 5 gallons, but that's a lot, you know, half as big as this whole tank. I could probably cut it in half and put another 8 inches or so in it. I've got plenty of room under there. I'll think about that. I really, you know, welding up tanks is kind of hard. I guess if I was a good TIG welder I could do it, but you know, I have trouble even breaking an arc with TIG, and I know that this MIG welder just gonna blow through this little thin tin real easy. Anyway, worst comes to worst, here's a halfway decent tank. I can put a pint of tank seal to hold all that stuff on the bottom, and figure me some way to get a fuel gauge in it and be good to go. Well, there it is sitting in there. I got about 8 inches on the end that I can move it. It fits just below that frame. Hangs down good. You know, probably about the bottom of this. So it'll work. Got my top piece out of there. I still haven't got that out yet. But the fuel filler neck's got to go above that thing there. It's got to come out around in here somewhere. But I can cut that and put a hose on it. I just put it up here to see how much, if I could weld either a piece on the end, piece in the middle, or put a ring around the bottom. I'd like to get more gas out of it. Probably a pain in the ass and a lot of work. I think that's at least price was right, 20 bucks. I can't cry about that. I have to get a fuel sending unit and all that stuff, but we'll see what happens. Well, I thought I'd put my tank and stuff in, at least make me up some brackets for it, so I decided to box this last rear part of the frame. I cut me a piece of cardboard out, got it roughly where I wanted it, cut one piece of metal out with a plasma cutter, ground it where it fit, and then made another one. So there's my left and right boxing plates. Which this is the driver's side or passenger side, but you can see that we have a cutout there. It goes around this bar, and I can weld them good here, weld it on the bottom, and I'll be able to go around the top. So I've got it pretty much all ground off where I need to weld it. I didn't rust converter the inside of these. I'll do that right now, so they'll have a chance to harden up. I might be able to blow some up in there, but I don't really want to. This stuff really makes some nasty fumes when it's dry, so I hate to weld on it. So I'll just put them in now, and I'll weld them in while they're still wet. That'd be good enough. Well, there's a driver's side tacked in. Looks like I should have pulled it back a little more, but on the plus side, it's going to match good out here. It's going to be hard. I forgot to clean that pipe right there. I can probably get a wire brush in there, but should be good enough. I still got my welder set for pretty thick metal, so we'll see if it burns out or what. Get my glasses on and a helmet and see what I can do. Well, that first one didn't go too bad. I burnt through in a few places, and on the bottom there I didn't really have it matched up good, but I basically got it welded good. Probably a lot more weld than I needed, but I really don't know how important this is to start with, but I can get in there and grind most of that off, make it look pretty good. And out here I can pretty much get this cleaned up. I'll have to be a little more careful with this one, and try to get my gaps a little better on the next plate. So we'll put another one in, and this time I'll examine it a little better before I tack it, and then we'll try it. Well, I did a little better job on that one. It was a better fit, and I pounded it in and clamped it. Yeah, they're both all right, but can't really weld the bead. A lot of spot weld in there. I had my voltage way too low back here for this heavy stuff. I'll just have to grind that all off. But basically, here's 4 feet of the frame boxed. I think I need to take the next one and cut it where it'll sit down inside that bottom frame. So I've got a little joint to weld. This worked out pretty good here on both sides, but you know, that would be ideal if I could just run one long bead across there. Probably can't, but if I spend a little more time making the template and making the piece of steel that's going to go in there, I'll have a lot better chance of getting it welded up pretty good. I'm starting to learn how to use that welder a little. it's not like any one I had before. The wire feed sets a current. Basically, once you get a current that's good enough to penetrate the metal you got, then you can only play with the voltage to get it to weld. Anyway, get some pretty ugly welds out of it. Every once in a while you get it right and you lay a good one. Anyway, this is part of something I haven't been really looking at. This is probably the least important part of the boxing, is this tail piece. And I think that metal I've got over there will cut me a piece big enough to do this next one. I may just go ahead and continue with this. I'm having pretty good success with it, so like anything, the more practice you get, the better off you are. So I can get me a piece of cardboard up there and trace it, blow one out of this panel. This is pretty good thick stuff, and the plasma cutter's going through it real well. So and I got 3 or 4 more pieces out there the guy gave me to box the frame with, so we'll just keep cutting. Well, I cut this neck section. What I did is I made this one as a template and made my cardboard. Then I cut this one here the same. But the problem is that brace that I've got going through there is like 7 inches, 7.5 inches, and this one's like 4, 5. So my template was off 2 inches, and of course it's in that curve. So what I did do was the front part was good, and then I split it and I put the back part in. Anyway, I got a pretty good hole in it, but I can weld that up, and that this gap here on the top, that'd be pretty easy to close up. I can just whack that a few times with a hammer. And in fact, I got a hammer right here. See, that's closing it up pretty good. That's good enough to weld right there. So, got about 5 feet of the frame done. Well, it's just tacked in. And I'll do something probably a little creative right there where that cross member goes through. And then I've got 2 more pieces, but they should be real straightforward. They're straight, no curves in them, so I should be able to whack them out pretty easy. I'm getting them welded in pretty good. I'm just, welding, 1/4 inch at a time and taking my time, and it'll be fine. I can kind of sort of feel this rear end already. It's getting a little stronger. And because of the torsion bars and the way they're all, four link and the way they're all hooked in, I want to make a pretty good boxing job in there. Weld it on both sides real good so that crossmember there don't have a chance of twisting. And my buddy came by today and said he had lots of plywood, so he's gonna bring me a couple used sheets of 5/8. That's enough to do my floorboard, and I can go ahead and cut that up and put in my floorboards. I thought about this roof mess up here. You know, I can cut enough metal. He said it's fine to use the metal off that truck over there, but I'll have at least 2 big pieces that'll have to go on it, and I've already got both sides that's got to go on it. So I think I'll just bite the bullet, buy a whole sheet for $170. That's going to be enough to do my roof in one piece and make it look real good. I'll have enough left over to finish that firewall, and I probably have like a foot left out of the sheet, which is something I need over there for the little Dodge truck. I gotta make a back plate for it. I may make something here, but anyway, $200. It'll cost me another probably 100 in gas trying to weld all them pieces together, and I'll have a crap job and it'll take forever.